picture a highly trained heart surgeon.
Okay.
They've scrubbed in, the patient is on the table, lives are literally on the line.
Right.
But instead of picking up a scalpel, the surgeon just grabs a mop and starts furiously scrubbing the operating room floor.
Which is, I mean, that's completely absurd.
It makes no sense at all, yet this exact dynamic destroys new businesses every single day.
Yeah, and the psychology behind it is actually really fascinating.
How so?
Well, we instinctively understand that highly specialized medical professionals, they need to be doing their highly specialized work.
Obviously.
But when it comes to entrepreneurship, we somehow celebrate this idea of doing the janitorial work of the business yourself, like it's a badge of honor.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a really insightful piece of source material today from an IT provider called moremax.net.
Yeah, it's an article titled Beyond the Billable Hour, Why an IT Partner is a New Law Firm, Founder's Best Friend.
And our mission for you today is to explore the massive and frankly often completely invisible costs of trying to DIY your technology when you're launching a business.
Absolutely.
We're going to look at why outsourcing your IT isn't just some, fancy corporate luxury, but an absolute foundational necessity.
And really quickly, while our source material specifically frames this around starting a law firm,
Right.
the core mechanics of what we are going to explore today, like time management, security architecture, scalable infrastructure, they apply to you whether you are building a design agency, a consulting firm, or a tech startup.
Okay, let's unpack this. The article immediately hits on this concept of the founder wearing too many hats.
Oh yeah, the classic founder trap.
Exactly. You launch a business, and suddenly you aren't just your profession anymore. You're the managing partner, you're the head of marketing, the accountant, human resources.
You're doing it all.
Right. But the one hat the source says you absolutely should never, ever wear is IT director.
Yeah, because when you are starting out, there is this immense, almost primal pressure to keep your overhead low.
Frugality feels like a survival instinct,
Exactly. You look at an IT invoice and you think, I am a smart person. I know how to plug in a router.
Sure.
I can figure out how to set up an email server. But the source points out that this specific mindset is where the hidden bleeding starts for a new company.
I do have to push back a little bit on the severity of that, though.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, we all deal with tech issues in our personal lives, and it's mostly fine, right? Is setting up a wireless printer or, updating a laptop operating system really that big of a drain on a business?
I mean,
It just feels like something you knock out while drinking your coffee on a Tuesday morning.
see, that's the trap. What's fascinating here is the math the source provides on this. It's actually pretty brutal. Let's break down the actual mechanics of that lost time.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's say your billable rate as an attorney or your hourly value as a consultant is $350 an hour. Now, think about the cumulative time you spend on tech over a week.
Right.
We weren't just talking about plugging in a printer once.
Right, it's the ongoing stuff.
Exactly. It's running software updates across multiple devices. It's troubleshooting why the Wi-Fi keeps dropping in the conference room right before a client call.
Ugh, the worst.
Or attempting to configure a secure email server, or just figuring out why your scanner refuses to talk to your computer today.
But even beyond the hard math, there's a mental tool to that, right?
Oh, massive.
Because if you're deep in the zone, say you're drafting a complex contract or writing code, and suddenly the network drops, you don't just lose the 10 minutes it takes to reset the router.
No, not at all.
You lose the 20 minutes it takes to get back into that state of deep cognitive focus.
Yeah, that concept is called context switching, and it is a huge productivity killer. The source estimates that if you spend just 4 hours a week dealing with those types of network connectivity issues or tech setups,
4 hours a week.
yeah, just 4 hours, you are bleeding $1,400 a week in lost billable time.
Wow. And 4 hours a week is basically just one frustrating afternoon of tech issues. That is incredibly easy to hit.
Totally. And if you extrapolate that $1,400 a week over the course of a 50-week working year,
Oh, boy.
you are looking at $70,000 in lost revenue.
$70,000.
$70,000. That is not a minor operational inefficiency. That's the salary of a full-time paralegal or an assistant.
Yeah, or a massive digital marketing budget.
Exactly. That is real, tangible growth you are actively sacrificing because you are stubbornly holding on to the IT director hat just to save a few $100 a month.
So the takeaway for you listening is about fundamentally shifting how you value your own time.
Yes.
It means recognizing when a task is actively costing you money. The goal of any founder should be to focus 100% of your energy on your actual expertise, while a dedicated IT team works invisibly in the background.
Because the technology should be a silent engine pushing you forward, rather than this heavy anchor you constantly have to pull up. If you're spending 2 hours reading internet forums to figure out an email configuration, you aren't winning cases. You aren't building your client base.
You're the surgeon mopping the floor.
Exactly. You are mopping the floor.
Okay, so you buy back your time, and let's say you're successfully billing that extra $70,000 a year. You've got financial momentum.
Which is great.
It's fantastic. But all of that growth can vanish overnight if the client data you were generating isn't protected.
Yep.
Which brings us to the next massive point in the source security and ethical compliance.
And in the legal field, those stakes could not be higher. But again, the principles of data protection apply to any modern business handling sensitive information.
I want to look at the psychology of the attacker for a second here.
Sure.
Let's say I'm a brand new founder. It's just me and an assistant in a small rented office suite. I would assume a tiny new firm is practically invisible to a hacker halfway across the world.
That's what a lot of people think.
Right. Wouldn't cybercriminals target the giant multinational corporations with billions of dollars?
It's a very logical assumption. But in the modern landscape of cyber warfare, it is incredibly dangerous.
Why is that?
Because hackers aren't always handpicking their targets like, cat burglars casing a mansion.
Okay.
They use automated software that constantly scans the entire internet for open ports, weak passwords, and unpatched servers.
Oh, so it's just a dragnet.
Exactly. They don't care if you're a 2-person firm or a 2,000-person firm. They are looking for the path of least resistance.
Wow.
In fact, small firms are actually preferred targets, precisely because they assume they're too small to be noticed, which means their security is usually full of holes.
I have to assume we aren't just talking about stealing lunch receipts here.
Yep.
A law firm holds the keys to the kingdom.
Oh, absolute goldmine.
We're talking about intellectual property, confidential settlement amounts, social security numbers, details of ongoing corporate mergers. It's a gold mine for extortion.
Think about the leverage a criminal gains if they get their hands on a messy divorce file.
Oh, geez.
Or the patent designs for a new tech product before it launches.
Yeah.
The source points out that protecting this data isn't just a good business practice to avoid a headache. It is an absolute ethical mandate.
Let's dig into that mandate, actually, because the source specifically cites the American Bar Association, the ABA.
Yes, Rule 1.6 of the ABA model rules.
Okay, what does that say?
This rule explicitly dictates that lawyers must make reasonable efforts to prevent the inadvertent or unauthorized disclosure of client information.
Wait, so?
Your ethical obligation regarding client confidentiality is not a suggestion. It is absolute.
So if a hacker gets into your DIY server because you didn't configure your firewall correctly, you aren't just a victim of a cybercrime.
No.
You are potentially facing a disciplinary board.
Hey.
That completely blurs the line between a simple IT issue and actual legal malpractice.
It absolutely does. Your entire business model is built on trust.
Right.
A data breach doesn't just cost you money in IT recovery fees.
Yeah.
It fundamentally destroys the trust you have built with your clients.
It's over.
Pretty much. If you lose their most sensitive data because you were using a consumer-grade router you bought at a big box store, you are directly on the disciplinary board's radar.
So how does an IT partner actually stop this? The source mentions they provide enterprise-grade security. But what are the actual mechanisms of that? How do they keep you off the disciplinary board?
Well, let's look at multi-factor authentication, or MFA, as an example.
Okay.
People often think of MFA as just that annoying text message with a code you have to enter.
Yeah, the one that always takes too long to arrive.
Exactly. But mechanically, it breaks the attack chain. If a hacker in another country tricks you into giving up your password with a sophisticated phishing email.
Which happens all the time.
Right. But MFA stops them dead in their tracks. They physically do not have the temporary code generating on your personal device.
Okay.
So it turns your stolen password into a useless piece of text. And an IT partner enforces this across every single application you use.
What about ransomware? Because that is the scenario that terrifies people the most.
Yeah, that's the nightmare scenario.
Where a hacker locks you out of your own files and demands payment in cryptocurrency just to give you the encryption key.
Right. So an IT partner combats ransomware through a mechanism called network segmentation and immutable backups.
Immutable backups.
Yeah, think of it like the watertight doors on a submarine. If one section of the network is compromised, The doors slam shut, and the infection cannot spread to the core data.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And furthermore, they maintain encrypted backups off-site. So if a ransomware attack does somehow encrypt your laptop, your IT partner can simply wipe the machine and restore your entire system from a backup taken an hour before the attack.
Wow.
You don't pay a dime. And you don't lose client confidentiality. They literally build a fortress around your operations.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's say you're listening to this and looking at your own DIY tech setup.
Okay?
You are terrified of Rule 1.6. You see the financial drain, and you want to do it right. But wanting to build a fortress and actually knowing how to pour the concrete are two very different things.
Yeah, the implementation gap is where most founders freeze up.
Navigating the business software landscape is like, well, it's like wandering into a massive, cavernous hardware store without a shopping list.
And all the signs are written in a language you don't speak.
Yes, exactly. But it's worse than that. It's not just about buying tools. It is about making sure those tools actually speak the same language.
Right.
If your document manager is the engine of your business and your billing software is the transmission, they have to connect perfectly. Otherwise, the car just doesn't drive.
And cutting through that overwhelming noise is exactly what a managed IT partner does.
Because if you try to build your own tech stack from scratch, you just get bombarded by marketing.
Totally. The source mentions some of the big names in legal tech. Should you use a massive, feature-heavy case management behemoth like Clio, or do you need something more lightweight and streamlined like Practice Panther? Do you need the heavy infrastructure of Microsoft 365, or is the collaborative nature of Google Workspace better for your specific workflow?
If you aren't deeply entrenched in tech, you're basically just guessing or relying on biased online reviews from people who don't even run businesses like yours.
Exactly. An experienced IT partner assesses your specific daily operations and builds a custom suite of software.
That makes sense.
A high-volume personal injury firm churning through hundreds of medical records needs a very different document management architecture than a boutique estate planning practice.
Obviously.
So an IT partner ensures you buy exactly what you need, nothing you don't, and crucially, they handle the API integrations.
The invisible glue between the programs.
Precisely that. How do you ensure your case management system pushes billable hours automatically into your accounting software?
Right. They have to talk to each other.
If they don't integrate via APIs, you are back to bleeding time. You are literally paying a human being to look at one screen and manually type numbers into another.
Which is the definition of inefficiency.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this conversation shifts from just getting the tech to work today to the concept of frictionless scalability.
Scalability is key.
Because it's relatively easy to have your tech function when it's just you and a co-founder in a single room.
Oh, sure. You can probably manage 2 laptops in a shared cloud drive for a few months.
But let's look at what happens in a year. Your firm is wildly successful.
Okay, we'd love that.
You need to hire 2 associate attorneys, an office manager, and a paralegal. If you build the DIY tech stack, scaling it up becomes an absolute nightmare.
Tangled wires, forgotten admin passwords, mismatched software licenses.
Oh, I have seen firms where employees share a single login credential because the founder didn't want to buy another software license.
What? Which completely destroys the multi-factor authentication security we just talked about.
Exactly. It invalidates all your security protocols instantly. You have no audit trail of who accessed what document.
That is terrifying.
But an IT partner designs your infrastructure with growth in mind from the very first day. When you are ready to scale, the process is incredibly smooth.
So what does that look like?
You simply tell your IT partner you are making a new hire. On that new employee's first day, a fully configured, totally secure, legally compliant laptop is already sitting on their desk.
Just ready to go.
Ready to go. They open it, log in with their unique credentials, and start billing hours immediately. There's no stress, no downtime, and no messy tech onboarding that makes your firm look unprofessional.
That completely changes the energy of a new hire's first week. Instead of spending 3 days figuring out how to access their email, they feel like they joined a well-oiled machine.
Exactly.
But let's push this foundation to its absolute breaking point.
Okay.
Because a perfectly scaled, seamless tech stack is wonderful during normal business hours on a sunny Tuesday afternoon.
Sure is.
The real test of an IT setup isn't how it handles the everyday routine. It's how it holds up during a catastrophic crisis.
And in the legal world, and the business world at large, really,
Yeah.
crises do not respect normal business hours.
No, they don't. The source paints this incredibly vivid, terrifying scenario. It is 2:00 a.m.
Okay.
You have a massive trial the next morning or a major pitch to venture capitalists. You're hyped up on coffee, reviewing your final notes, and suddenly your document management system completely crashes.
Oh, no.
The server goes down, the screen goes black, you cannot access your exhibits, your financial briefs, nothing. What actually happens when an emergency strikes in the middle of the night?
Well, if you are acting as your own IT director, you are staring at that blank screen at 2 a.m., realizing you are entirely isolated.
Just you and the blinking cursor.
You cannot wait until 9:00 a.m. the next business day to call a generic tech support line and wait on hold for an hour.
No, you'll miss the trial.
You are going to have to walk into that courtroom or that boardroom completely unprepared due to a technical glitch. It is a profound professional disaster.
Just visualizing that scenario makes my heart rate spike, honestly.
Yeah, it's brutal.
The anxiety of being helpless in front of a computer screen when your entire career is on the line.
This raises an important question regarding the hidden value of 247 peace of mind.
Okay.
A managed IT partner provides round-the-clock monitoring. And this isn't just a call center waiting for the phone to ring.
Right.
They deploy software agents on your network that constantly monitor CPU load, hard drive health, server connectivity.
Oh.
Often they detect a failing hard drive and replace it before the 2.0 AM crash ever occurs.
Oh, so it's proactive maintenance rather than reactive panic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if the worst does happen, an alert instantly hits an IT professional's dashboard. You make a single phone call or submit an urgent ticket, and an expert is actively working on restoring your backups immediately.
No matter what time it is.
No matter the hour, their entire purpose is to keep your firm operational.
So you never have to stand before a judge or a client and say, I'm so sorry my server crashed.
Never. That excuse just does not fly in a professional environment.
It really doesn't.
And this proactive, protective approach is exactly the philosophy of the company behind our source text today, moremax.net.
Right.
They specialize in helping founders build these exact types of secure, efficient, and scalable IT foundations.
They have a brilliant tagline in the text, actually. We handle the technology so you can handle the law.
Which perfectly encapsulates the mission of any good managed service provider.
Yeah.
They deeply understand the unique compliance issues and the rigorous operational demands of modern firms. They absorb that entire technical burden so the founder can actually focus on their core genius and maximize the firm's potential from day one.
So what does this all mean for you?
Good question.
If you're sitting there listening to this, whether you're gearing up to launch a legal practice, a creative agency, a consulting group, or any venture that requires focus, the message is crystal clear. Wearing the IT director hat is a dangerous trap.
Very dangerous.
It's a trap that quietly drains your revenue by eating up highly valuable billable hours. It restricts your ability to scale your team without massive friction. And most dangerously, it exposes you to catastrophic security breaches and ethical compliance violations that could completely dismantle your business before it ever truly gets off the ground.
We have spent our time today exploring the devastating consequences of a founder trying to be their own IT director.
Yeah.
The hidden financial costs, the severe security vulnerabilities, the cognitive drain.
All of it.
But if we pull back from just technology, it makes you wonder. Look closely at your own daily professional life. What other hats are you stubbornly wearing right now that are secretly sabotaging your true core mission?
Wow, that is a phenomenal question to chew on. Are you the surgeon who insists on mopping the floor in your own business? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope it gave you some clarity on how to build a stronger, more secure foundation for whatever it is you are building next. Stay curious, fiercely protect your time, and keep learning. We will catch you on the next one.